multiplication and division can be done with the same sort of rule designation. If the two numbers to be multiplied or divided have the same sign, then the answer is positive. If, however, they have different signs, then they have a negative answer. This simple statement is easy to use and also easy to mix up with the adding and subtracting problems that we were just looking at. So make sure that you're thinking about which operation you're doing, and we'll look at some examples where we combine operations later. We might take a second and look at some signs here. How do we indicate that we're doing these two operations? Multiplying, of course, can be used with the times sign, a dot. We use a lot of times multiplication as two sets of parentheses. Or when we're dealing with just letters, sometimes we just put the two letters side by side, or even a number in a letter, and that implies that we're doing the multiplication. We don't use the times sign very much because it looks too much like an X. But these are the basic ways to indicate the operation of multiplication. Division operations, we can use the divided by sign. We can set up division to be like that, or we can use a fraction. The more algebra we do, the more likely we are to use a fraction to indicate our division problems. So here are the symbols that we'll be using. Whenever you see them, be sure you're indicating to yourself what operation you're doing. Now let's look at some powers. What are exponents and how do they get involved in our work? Well, we might look at just a problem with just letters like so. So for example, we might have 2 to the third power equals 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. What do each one of these things, how are they named? Well, the E is the exponent, and the B is the base, and together they are considered to be a power. So we'll say that this is 2 to the third power, or the third power of 2 is 8. Because this is a 3, we might also call it 2 cubed, a special name. If we have a 2 is an exponent, we give that the special name squared. So we have the operations adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and we have powers and exponents. Put it all together, and we have to know what order to do the operations if they're all mixed up into one problem, and that's what we'll look at next.